excited for another recording, Will?
Oh shit!
That's what I thought.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was closed.
All right, another pre-show. Another week has gone by. We're both in interesting conditions, I think.
There's one less tooth on this podcast.
There's one fewer tooth. I've had a cold for a few days. I'm finally getting over, but
I totally forgot about that because you sound normal.
Yeah. I'm definitely on the upswing.
That's good.
After a couple of not very fun. I mean, it wasn't really awful in general. It was just
a cold.
Sinus congestion. No other symptoms, thankfully. No sore throat. I didn't really have any headaches.
That's good.
One day I had a slight headache for a little bit just because of the sinus pressure, but other than that, it's just been annoying, like stuffy and runny nose situation.
Like the whole do you have like the whole like one nostril works and then the other one works?
Oh yeah, my right nostril has pretty consistently been the one that's been like plugging up. It'll switch every now and then, but that's right. So that's been fun for the last few days, especially working. A couple of nights working like that was pretty great, especially whenever it's really cold at night because I work at night.
Well, and your job requires you to smell things, so.
Yep, I am the smell checker.
You are the smell
in the
checker.
Warehouse. I check for gas leaks and such, and so
walk around with like your head kind of hung low and just.
Yep, and so the last couple of days at work, I just kind of lied on my chart. Just said like, "Oh, all good," and just hope for the best.
You were putting lives at risk.
I was willing to risk that.
You were willing to risk that.
Yep. But what do you have going on? Why don't you enlighten the folks on and myself on your happenings today?
I had a tooth pulled 5 hours ago. As of this recording.
So, don't know if at all it'll be noticeable, but if Will sounds, if his speech is kind of different, that's why.
My speech is already bad, but if my speech is worse than normal, I might have a slight lisp because my as you can probably hear it,
a bit.
Part of my mouth is still numb, and then I'm also there's a hole in my normal tooth.
Yeah, that
area.
wasn't there previously.
So it's a little weird to have the tongue fall into a crevice that wasn't previously there for the past.
Did you say that
years.
You do or do not have gauze in? You don't currently?
I don't, no, because if I did, then I would definitely not be able to talk. I guess. I did the whole I had gauze in for 4 hours straight just to stop bleeding.
Yeah.
So I've never had a tooth removed while being awake.
Me too.
So I had 4 wisdom teeth cut out.
Yeah.
While I was deep under.
Same.
And I didn't know if that's how this was going to go.
I assume they didn't gas you up.
No,
then
nothing.
Right? It was just the numbing shots,
just
right?
Whatever the shot is in the shots, that was it.
Yeah.
Which was fine. I mean, it was no discomfort other than the pressure of a guy with instruments in your, inside your mouth.
Just not even the dentist.
No, just a guy.
A man with instruments.
Frank, I think. It's just, there was a tuba and a saxophone. It was really weird. I had
playing
a
them in your mouth.
chamber orchestra in my mouth, yeah.
It's really impressive.
It sounded great. It really did. Actually, speaking of sound, that was the weirdest part about this whole thing. So, so I guess I didn't just elect to have a tooth removed.
It wasn't donated to science.
No, I don't think so, at least. I don't know what... I wanted to keep it. I didn't say that. I should have said it. But then as the procedure went on, I realized that, there probably wasn't going to be much of a tooth left to keep. From what he had to do to get it out. So...
gosh.
It wasn't a super bad tooth, but it was definitely a tooth that, had gone to a point of... The dentist said 2 weeks ago when I first had to go get it, checked... they were like, okay, you can either have it removed, or you can get a root canal and a crown, and at least you'll still have your tooth in a sort of semi-fashion to what it is currently at that time, right?
Yeah.
And like the dentist who was there. This is 2 weeks ago. Dentist who was there, and like two of the assistants who came in and like did some stuff. Everyone was like, "You've got great teeth. I would hate to lose this. To lose a tooth." And it's like in the back, so I wasn't worried about like any kind of cosmetic appearance or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it'd be great. And then they showed me the price, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But even then, I asked around. I asked people online randomly, just people I didn't know or trust.
Complete strangers.
Surveyed complete strangers as to what I should do, if I should get a the root canal and crown,
Yeah,
or if I should just get it extracted. And basically, I was, there's a massive price difference between the two procedures. So part of me was like, okay, if I elect to do the more expensive route, I wanted to ask people, and I did know these folks, at least in some fashion. I wanted to ask people who may have had a root canal and crown procedure, is it worth it? Were there any regrets? Is it worth this price? And if people were going to tell me, yeah, it's expensive, but like it's great, or the other route of like, I had my tooth pulled and I regret it, or what, something along those lines, that would have helped to, swayed my decision, and I would have had to figure out a way to, pay for the more expensive treatment if that was like the overall, like, you should do this type thing. Because I really didn't, it's not that I didn't trust the 3 people in the office, the dentist office, who were like saying, I wouldn't want to lose that, you have great teeth or whatever. It's not that I didn't trust them. Part of me was also like, are they just trying to like upsell me on a procedure that, is more expensive?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to confirm, that sort of thing too. So I polled a bunch of people, New York Times and all that stuff. It was a scientific poll, and basically I just said, for those who have had this done, what is it like? Is it worth the price?
Is this poll still up on like r/dental questions?
No, I did. No, I really did just ask people that I trusted via social media. But I have met most of these people, or at least I've had conversations with them, so I trust them to some extent. And no, absolutely no one said do the root canal. No one did. In fact, I had several people who said, I've had a root canal and I regret it, or I didn't like it, or it's not worth the price, or whatever. And one of the things that they did tell me in the dentist's office 2 weeks ago was that it'll save your tooth, but even then, a root canal is only going to be effective for so long. At some point in time down the road, 5 years, 10 years, who knows how many years, but at some point in time, you will have to have either another procedure done, or an implant, or something done. So part of me is thinking right then, I was like, well, if it's going to cost this much and also be temporary, even 10 years is technically temporary as far as my hopeful lifespan goes. I was like, man, that's a lot of money just to put down for like a short-term plan here. So after everyone sort of codified that whole "don't do it, it's not worth it" mindset, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have it pulled. And so that was, like I said, 2 weeks ago. The only reason I didn't do it last week was because I figured I could only get in on a Sunday last week, which this was like a dentist office that's open every day of the week, thankfully, so that's kind of nice. But my one fear of doing that, of like scheduling, there's a loud car.
I hear it.
And it's gone.
Nice. It's 11:30.
Yeah, it's always great. So my one fear of doing it last Sunday was that the time changed as of this, recording. We're at the daylight savings time ending. So I was like, do I schedule an appointment on a Sunday and then have to try to like sit here and do math and be like, wait, is the appointment at 4 now or is it 4 then? So that's really the only reason why I didn't do it last week, which is a stupid reason. I was also maybe like, somewhat, I guess, fearful. But it's getting closer as of the recording towards the holiday season. And I was just like, I need to take care of this. Mostly just because I didn't want to like go through, the coming holidays with this issue in my mouth. And it wasn't causing pain or anything, but it could have gotten worse. So I just wanted it done, but mostly I wanted to get it done so that way I would hopefully be healed by, the holiday, like Thanksgiving coming up or whatever is the big one.
Yeah.
So I decided, screw it. I'm going to have to get it done. Scheduled the appointment, went in. The dentist was like, it was actually a different dentist this time. And he was like, oh, we're going to pull the tooth, huh? And I said, yeah. He's like, are you sure you don't want to do like the root canal? Like it was like one last thing. And I was like, I said, I would love to if it was cheaper. And he's like kind of smirked and was like, yeah, that's the American healthcare system for you. So he at least acknowledged that it was.
And you're like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that it was way too expensive.
Yeah.
So they went in with like the shots, and like the last time I had like a shot in my tooth, like the needle was. I mean, I was probably like a teen, if not even younger, maybe even still like preteen. I would actually say. Mm. Yeah, I mean, they had to be maybe even like single digits, but
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago. But it was for cavities way back whenever I was like really little, right? So I kind of knew just from that, even though it was so long ago, like what to expect as far as that sensation of having a needle jabbed into your gum line and all that stuff. So the guy sits down and he says, has me open up my mouth and whatever. And I didn't know that he already had the needle in his hand. Like I'm expecting him to like examine or like look at the tooth, because this is a new guy. This is not the guy that I had 2 weeks ago. So I was expecting him to like look at the tooth, maybe see if he had to do something first, and then be like, okay, we're going to numb, prep me, right? So he's sitting there and he's already in my mouth, and I don't know what he's doing. He's just in there, right? And I'm like, sir, your pants. I feel a little like tinge of pressure. I won't even call it pain. I just felt, pressure. And he goes, yeah, this might hurt. And I'm like, okay. And then he pulled his hand out of my mouth, and I definitely saw like the syringe. And then I felt like instantly, like the numbing, sensation. So I was like, oh, that was over faster than I expected it to be, actually. And it didn't hurt at all. I didn't even know that he had like stuck my gum. And then he did warn me about like the one on the roof of my mouth. He said, this one you probably will feel quite a bit. And it did. It was like, it didn't hurt, but I definitely felt it, like it was one of those things like, I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah. But that was over and quick. There was like 5 of them, I think. 5 different injections. And then another guy came in, another dentist. So they kept like tagging out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But the first guy who did it was much older. I think he's the one that actually owns the facility. And maybe it was just like he was the only one like authorized to do like some kind of anesthesia or something. I don't know. But then this younger guy came in and got right to work. And buddy, like I was not expecting how not painful it was. Mm-hmm. The whole time I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck. I was like, I've only ever been asleep whenever something this invasive happens. The last time I ever had like the shots or whatever, to numb my gums. Like I said, I was like a little kid, so I don't recall what. I'm sure it hurt, but I was also a kid, so did it? But also those were like little kid teeth. I've since lost all those teeth and like grown in my permanent teeth since those happened, right? And this is like a molar. It's like in the back of your fucking mouth, and I have to open my jaw even more. And it's like one of the bigger teeth back there. So yeah, I was like, this is probably going to be pretty painful, but I'm ready for it. I'll just get over it, right? Didn't hurt at all. Like there was like some discomfort just from like having him like literally pry on my tooth. My jaw definitely started to hurt a little bit because he was like torquing my mouth over, and it was just, that was just like painful. Painful even sounds too strong. There was a lot of pressure, I will say. It was discomfort.
Yeah.
But he had to bring the whole drill out, and that was gross because like you start to like smell your burning tooth as it gets, ground away. And then bringing in like the different pliers or whatever instruments they are to like grab pieces of it and yank it out. And the sound was the thing that I wasn't expecting. And not the sound of the drill. The sound of like actually hearing my tooth be pulled away from my jaw. Like the cracking sound of like bone, and then just that like sensation of, I guess, like the root or whatever it was, like, being like plucked from its socket. Being able to hear that really well in my ear, it was just like, this is kind of gross. But yeah, it took probably like almost an hour, and that includes like 20 minutes of like sitting there waiting for like the numbing stuff to like take full effect and everything. So I don't know if that's long or short as far as that goes, but it wasn't as uncomfortable as I thought it was going to be. He kept apologizing for it taking so long. And I was like, you're fine. I don't know if this is, you could tell me that this is the fastest one you've ever done. I'd have no, I had no like, thing to compare it to. But he kept apologizing because he said this tooth is like really, like it's not a bad tooth.
This tooth is in its permanent location.
Well, kind of like he said something along the lines of like, too bad you couldn't have afforded the root canal, because this is like a perfect candidate for a root canal. Like this is like the roots are still perfect.
You probably wouldn't have ever had to have gotten another fix up on this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This would have lasted like 80 years.
Yeah, this is a damn shame.
Yeah, as he's yanking it out still.
It's too late now.
Yeah, late now, bitch. Yeah. It's like, don't tell me this. But so it took a while, I guess, according to him, to get this thing out, because it was very well rooted. It wasn't like rot or anything, there wasn't, decay deep down inside there. But also, like 2 weeks ago, they told me that, like, they can't do any kind of like cavity filling or whatever. Like they can't, because it had already been at one time in my life filled, and then that fell out, and that's what led to this issue. So that they basically told me it either has to come all the way out or you have to do the expensive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was over, and then I forgot the part that was also gross. Not just hearing it. The smell was bad enough, but I've smelled some smelly stuff before, and so the smell wasn't horrible. But the other part was just like, because of how big the tooth was, and you had to like keep breaking and drilling off bits of it. There was like, I could tell that like bits of my tooth were in my mouth. And at one point he even goes like, don't swallow. And then he grabbed like the sucker thing and like sucked out, two big, so I'm sure I had like, right at the bottom of my mouth or whatever, some like pieces of actual tooth or something. But I could feel that on my tongue, occasionally, like the bigger chunks or whatever. But yeah, I did feel, not in like a pain sort of way, but I did feel like the him pulling out of the root, which again, he had to like or roots. There were 3. He had to like really like torque on my face to the point he asked his assistant to like hold my chin and jaw in place so that way I wouldn't keep like going with his movement or whatever, right?
So did you make any comments like, "Man, I'd hate to be you tomorrow," or anything like that?
I'm getting there. So I did actually feel the first big root, I guess. He said it was big. I did feel, I guess, a sensation of it leaving whatever it's in, bone or gum or whatever that root is like seated in. I felt like a pulling out of something, and like a slight release of pressure in my gum line. So that was also weird. But yeah, so like I said, it wrapped up. We got done. He set me up and said, I'm going to prescribe you this, and this. And he said that I can't remember what the one painkiller I'm getting is called. But anyway, he said that one will make you feel really good. And this other one will help with inflammation and pain. So definitely take them both. I was like, okay. And then he said, day 2's the worst. Day 2 going into 3 is the worst. And I was like, oh? He said, yeah. Take as much pain pills as you need. I was like,
good advice.
So that was the equivalent of, man, it's going to suck for you tomorrow. And the numbing, for the most part, lasted for like a couple hours, maybe an hour and a half, from like the initial shot, right? But then I was walking, because I had a family member take me up there, because I had no idea if they were going to put me under or not.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to drive alone. And it was like an hour away. I didn't want to drive alone and then, be like knocked unconscious and not to drive back or whatever. So anyway, after we were done, we went to like walk around a couple stores, just because I was wanting to do some shopping while I was up there. If I was able to function, I told this family member that I was, wanting to get some things. So before we went to get the thing, it was at one of those, it was at a Sam's Club. It's like the whole membership thing. And it's my first time having a membership there. I've had Costco before, but this is the first time. So there was going to be some like initial setup where I had to go to like the guest services or whatever desk and talk to them. So I told my family member, hey, I don't want to go there right after the appointment right now because I have like a mouthful of gauze and I can barely talk. So let's go somewhere else and just like walk around. So we did that, and anyway, as we're walking around, I wanted to like kill like an hour and a half basically before I could change my gauze again and not have as much blood coming out of my mouth. so as we were walking around that first store, the whatever shot it is to numb started to wear off, and I could feel finally like the hint of pain coming in. It was coming in waves, and it would like come out of nowhere, just just a sharp. I was like, oh, here we go. So we finally go to the second store to get the membership set up. Got that all done. I have like more gauze. I have fresh gauze, but less gauze, so I can talk and sort of open my mouth, but it also looks and sounds like I have like chewing tobacco in my gum line or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So did all of that. As we're walking around that store, I'm seeing like all this stuff. I was like, oh, I could cook this. I could cook like these are that looks delicious. This looks awesome. And then I remembered that like I can only have like soft food for a week. So that put a damper on my mood a lot.
Yep.
So I got like bulk size packages of like microwavable mashed potatoes. And I was just like,
that's the way to go.
This is my life for now. But yeah, the pain still isn't bad right now. I don't know if tomorrow is going to be super worse. But it did take a long time for the bleeding to stop. That was
I can imagine so.
Not good thing. I actually went into a gas station before we left to come back here, and I bought like the biggest bottle of like water that they had. And the guy who checked me out at the gas station, he was like, "Man, that water's expensive, huh?" And I just like said, "Yeah," and unfortunately, I'm going to end up spitting most of it out. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, no, like, that's the plan. I wanted to get the biggest one so I could, like, rinse my mouth out. And he's like, "Oh, is it, like, some kind of infection or whatever?" And then I was like already too deep into this conversation to, like, just walk away. So I said, "No, I just had, like, a dental thing, so I just wanted to, like, flush my mouth out." "Oh, well, you could have just done that in the bathroom." And I was like, "No, I'm going to be driving, so I just wanted to get, But this guy was like super concerned about one, the price of the water that he was selling me, and then two, like what I was going to be doing with it.
Yeah,
so that was kind of funny. But so I like rinsed my mouth out in the parking lot, and then I oh yeah, they gave me a sheet of instructions, right, like a post operation instructions, whatever, and I did read them. I promise I did. But then as is Will's I guess
defect.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I immediately forgot what I read.
Yes.
And like the first instruction is, do not rinse or spit for 24 hours.
Oh, good.
So I did that. I did that right in the Speedway parking lot. Just spit out some blood and rinse my mouth. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. The biggest thing that I knew not to do was and I didn't like spit hard. I did know that because that.
And then you immediately got into your vehicle and started drinking with a straw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I knew all that stuff. I knew all like the dry socket stuff, like straw, spitting hard, that kind of thing, smoking. So I didn't like hot to spit or whatever, right? I like put it in my mouth and I like lazily like let it fall out into the parking lot. Okay. But I just forgot that rinsing was also like a thing not to do. I'm sure it's fine. So yeah. So that's me. That's me. One less tooth. It feels crazy weird right now.
I imagine so.
You know how like if anything happens in your mouth, your tongue has a mind of its own suddenly and just wants to go like poke at it. Like you just want to like stick your tongue in it. So bad. So I'm like fighting that urge constantly. It's just like I can't, like I have like leash, like pull my tongue away mentally. Like no, down boy.
And I imagine you have those like dissolving stitches
or
whatever.
No
right?
stitches.
No stitches.
No stitches. Zero stitches. Gosh. It was literally just yank, 3 roots. Here, you're done. Here's some gauze. Pack the gauze in there.
Don't forget these instructions.
Yeah, don't forget. Read these. These are super important.
Rule number 1 is do not forget this stuff.
No, rule number 1 is don't spit and swallow. Or don't spit and rinse. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to
don't forget rule number 1.
Yeah, it's Fight Club. That's what it is. It's the Fight Club of teeth. So tomorrow I go and get the medications. One of them is also there's 3. One I'm pretty sure I can't take or I'm going to die. One is good for pain.
Yeah.
And then one is like an antibiotic. Oh. So the one that I can't take or I'll die is a super high dose of an anti-inflammatory. And I think I will have a bad reaction to that. I told them that I was like, because they asked me if I had any allergies, and I said aspirin. I think. It's not been like confirmed. I haven't had like a diagnosis for any kind of allergy or whatever. To
mentioned on a previous pre-show, I believe.
Well, it was okay. Yeah. So
because you're talking about your poison ivy story, and you said you had a reaction to one of those drugs.
Sure.
At some point.
Well, this is a new thing. So this wasn't. Oh no, I did say that. I said that I developed allergies after that, and then recently it's an aspirin thing. I don't know if it's actually an allergy to aspirin though. I just say that because that's the thing that makes the most sense to other people whenever they ask if I have like an allergy. But I think it's actually, this is like self-diagnosis. because the symptoms mostly match up with this. It's either some kind of weird reaction to aspirin and also other NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, or it's what's called aspirin exasperated respiratory disease, I think, AERD. And it's not an allergy. But it's something that has to do with like your body. They don't call it an autoimmune disorder. They call it an autoimmune dysfunction. And basically, your body like overreacts to something in the anti-inflammatory property of NSAID and aspirin, and your blood pressure drops crazy low, and then you also go into like a severe asthma attack at the same time. So that's what I've experienced that for the past couple years now. Whenever I take like the 200 milligram or 250 or whatever like the normal size aspirin or ibuprofen is. And it lasts for like 3 hours. I can't catch my breath. My heart rate goes sky high. My eyes get bloodshot. I get really like weak. It's great. So he prescribed me like 800 milligram ibuprofen. So I'm pretty sure that's going to kill me if I take it. So I'm gonna ask the pharmacist. But even then, I'm probably just not going to take that. I'm just going to take just the painkiller, and be fine. And the antibiotic, that'd be great. So I get that tomorrow. I'll know then if the pain is worse suddenly. I'm sure it will be than what it is right now. I'm only slightly numb, but I feel most everything. So
and at least you get that extra day off.
Yeah,
like you don't have to work tomorrow,
right?
And
deal
with like the supposedly worst day of it.
Yeah, well, he did say day 2 going into day 3, so I don't know if that includes like how much of day 3 Monday. But I do have to go into work early Monday, so we'll see. And I am going to be busy tomorrow. I do have to go down to the haunted house that I helped with, and receive my paycheck. So that's gonna be nice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow and seeing what that's going to be like. Seeing how much these pain pills are going to cost too. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
So yeah. But other than that, I feel fine. Just there's like a weird hole in my mouth now that I can't stop like tongue fucking or trying to.
Well, at least whenever it heals up, you'll be able to tongue away at it.
I'm looking forward to being able to drink through a straw with my mouth closed.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, like get the straw into the side there. And...
The cool thing is that I don't know, like I don't think you can see it really, even when I smile. Can't. Yeah, it's like it's the back there. It's the number 14 tooth for those of you who know how to identify which tooth that is.
On the bottom or top. Or the top.
Top 14 on the top.
14
on the top.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
It'd be 28 if it was on the bottom.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm not one of those people that knows the numerical sequence of the teeth.
I didn't either until they had. Oh, so that was the thing. 2 weeks ago when I had the first meeting or whatever. First, it wasn't an appointment. I just showed up. The first procedure. Well, I'll say that. They had to do like the initial X-rays and stuff to get a baseline of what's all going on in there. And I've had those done. It's been a long time since I've been to a dentist.
Yeah.
So the last time I had this done, I remember them like they would put like something in your mouth, like I guess like a piece of plastic or something. I don't know like what it was.
Yeah, like a thing you had to kind of bite down a little bit.
Exactly. I guess it was maybe to keep your teeth separated a little bit. But you had to like do that, and then they would bring in like the X-ray thing, and they hold still, boom, take a picture, and that was it. But it was just pictures, and it was 2-dimensional. That was it. This thing was awesome, and I kind of want to like call him and be like, hey, can I have like a copy of this? But I had to bite down on a piece of gauze. That was it, like front teeth, to keep my teeth like slightly apart. And then it was almost like a similar contraption to like a vision test where you have to like put your head and chin on something, you know? And then they were just like, hold still, and we're going to do this twice, so don't move. And then this automated thing, this robot, like orbits your head twice at different angles.
And I like imagining any listener who like regularly gets their dental check work, they're like, yeah, they've been doing this for like 10 years.
No, I'm sure. It's been 18 since I was at a dentist last time. So I'm sure. But this was like amazing to see.
Yeah.
Because it produced...
Yeah, I think...
It produced a 3D X-ray. So they brought it in on like the screen and stuff after they, I guess, computationally developed it or whatever. And they could like pan, tilt, zoom in my whole mouth. It was awesome. I was like, that's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, I think there was... I'm trying to remember, but so I just got my X-rays for the first time in like a decade done. I think a year ago now, I think is when I went. And I think that was what they did too, from what I recall. Because I also remember looking at the screen and seeing them be able to like click and drag to like rotate around and like look at different stuff.
That was impressive.
Because I was really worried that I had a cavity, and she was like, well, if there was one, we'd be able to see it on here probably. And I was like, oh, well, good.
Well, that was the thing too. Then. 2 weeks ago, whenever like those 3 individuals were saying like, you have great teeth, this, and this. Yeah. The one assistant who was doing the most like exploratory work in my mouth at the time, and of course they always like talk to you whenever you have like your mouth full of shit.
Yeah.
But she said, your teeth look really good. And then she said, when was the last time you went to the dentist? And I was like, 8 years ago. And she was like, oh, well, you're definitely due for a cleaning, but these are great.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, I feel like my teeth are not great. So am I just like over anal about my teeth? Or too worried?
I had a similar kind of situation because I was really... Because I hadn't been in a decade, and I was really concerned. I even like told them straight up when I went in there. I was like, I could almost guarantee I have a cavity.
These are fucked up.
Yeah,
Be ready.
I was like, I'm pretty sure in the back in one of these, there's got to be something. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years, and I remember they looked around and everything, and they're like, "Where do you think you have one?" Because they were like looking around, and they were like, "I don't." Like, what is it that you think? And I was like, there's a spot back here on this tooth. And the lady looked at it and she was like, yeah, that's just a stain.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And they're like, yeah, you just need like a cleanup or whatever. And I went back for my next visit and they did like their cleanup. And I said to the lady, so let me ask you, be honest. For 10 years without going to the dentist, not too bad. And she was like, yeah, it's great. She was like, it's no problem. She was like, so, how often do you brush? And I was like, once a day. And she was like, yeah. She was like, try to do it twice a day. She was like, other than that, everything looks great.
See, I'm calling bullshit on the whole American Dental Association because I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm not saying dental visits aren't important or like regular checkups and cleanings are not important. But I went for almost 2 decades without that. And the only reason I had this one... and I hear everyone saying, yeah, but you just had a tooth pulled. But the only reason I had that pulled was because a filling fell out. And if I would have had dental insurance whenever it fell out, I could have probably gotten it, refilled or whatever then. But I waited like 4 or 5 months easily, if not more than that, before I had to go in because the tooth split whenever I bit down on a peanut.
Yeah.
But anyway, not having gone in 2 months, or sorry, 2 decades almost. 2 decades. 2 decades.
It had been 60 days.
60 days. My teeth are falling out. No. In almost 2 decades, not having gone, the only time I floss is if something is legit stuck between my teeth, which is rare. I brush once in the morning, and I use the cheapest toothpaste. I do not rinse my mouth with mouthwash, any of that stuff. I eat potato chips and have eaten potato chips for many, 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 many years. And the reason I bring that up, because that's actually the worst offender. Chips are worse than soda or candy. And I drink soda and I eat candy, all that kind of stuff. And the fact that like 3 dental professionals are telling me that like your teeth are great, you know, it's like it's like either you're lying to me to make me feel good, or this whole like check up every 6 months, brush twice a day, floss daily, you know, it's a scam. One of the two.
In reality, whenever they were passing off to each other, they're like, "Oh my god!"
They're like, "Just tell him his teeth are good because they're bad."
Say they're beautiful, beautiful teeth.
Just for his self-esteem. Just tell him that they're good. Yeah.
That'd be really fucked up.
I mean, I do have like 8 black ones. Is that okay? No.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's and maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe there was something in the water down here that you and I drank growing up that extra fortified our teeth or whatever, but I've seen some pretty bad teeth in this area too. So
yeah, it's the fluoridated water.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna take that away. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it went well. And at least so far, so good.
Yeah.
And I hope, once the numbing wears off completely, it's not a complete nightmare for you.
I mean,
tomorrow.
I think I'm like 95% unnumbed right now. I don't really think I'm really too numbed at all. I can feel at the top of my mouth with my tongue. I feel everything there. I definitely feel like something happened in in my mouth. I definitely feel that.
I bet.
And I definitely feel that it's a little bit swollen right here on my like outer cheek. I feel like
I imagine.
So I'm sure I'll be sore. But really, like I said, the most painful part of it was just like that dude like torquing, and I could tell that he was like using a lot of force without like basically going overboard and breaking it. You know, like breaking it in a way that he didn't want it to break or whatever. Mm-hmm. But because it took a good long time, like a lot of drilling for whatever reason, I guess to split it in multiple pieces or something. A lot of drilling. He went through like 2 bits. He told me, like 2 the dental bits.
He told you like you're gonna have to pay for these, by the way.
Yeah,
like this is going on your bill.
Racking it up. Which that was actually something that I was surprised because they quoted me. That's how I knew the price between the 2 procedures 2 weeks ago. They gave me a quote for each. And I know how that usually works is like, this is what we think it might cost. And then whenever you actually get here, it'll be like a couple $100 over or $100 over or whatever. So I was thinking it would definitely be different, a different higher price. But it was the exact same price that they quoted me. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. And it was only, for the record, it was only $300.
Mm. Which I spent more on the 2 new tires that I just got for my
vehicle. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest reason. Literally, it was like $3,500 to get the root canal and crown. Mm-hmm. That was going to be a maybe for 10 years. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. I was asked, like, as the guy was the first older dentist was numbing my gums and stuff. He did ask if I had any like plans to do like a bridge or an implant, and I was like, not right now. I mean, I was like, I can't afford more than this, let alone future stuff. So,
and then for the second time, American health system, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
He just repeatedly asks about things he knows you can't afford.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it was great overall. Great staff. I was
positive review.
Positive, yeah. I mean, the fact that I had like a tooth yanked out of my skull, and I'm fine as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And like they were, straightforward with me. There was no BS about stuff. I feel like that they were. I mean, like I said, now, after the fact, I do feel like they were honest about the, opinion of them hating the fact that they had to get rid of a good tooth of mine. Or a good enough tooth, right, for them to do a root canal on. So I do feel like that they weren't like giving me any kind of like, you know, salesman or BS, whatever. At least now.
Yeah.
At the time earlier, I wasn't so sure about that, but yeah. So go get your teeth done, I guess.
That's a good.
Or
good
don't for 20 years. That's the takeaway. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like
save some money.
I feel like big floss and big toothpaste out there trying to get you to brush twice a day.
I kind of felt the same way, yeah. So I definitely so I always just get like that, like like tartar and plaque or whatever shit. Like
it's all the same
on the back of my bottom teeth.
Yeah, sure. I thought
that's the only place I get any kind of like noticeable buildup of anything, and I always specifically brush more there.
Yeah.
But I still, like, after I came back from my cleaning, I could see in between a couple of my teeth right here, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And then like that's gone now already.
Yeah.
But
the buildup's back.
But other than that, everything else seems fine. I try to floss regularly, but I honestly don't.
Yeah.
I brush once a day, and it's before I go to bed.
Oh, you do the opposite.
And
okay.
I do. I don't consistently mouthwash. I do occasionally, though. Lately I have been regularly, but I'll kind of go in like spurts where I'll like every day I'll mouthwash after I brush, and then for a while I'll just stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thing. I'm pretty anal about dental cleanliness and mouth cleanliness in general. Like I'm really paranoid about like bad breath and just like teeth looking gross and stuff. It's absolutely like horrific if like teeth look fucking disgusting to me.
I can't stand it.
And so I'm really paranoid about that, and I like look really closely at everything and make sure everything looks fine. And
that was the decision to go. Like I said, the tooth that I had removed, I wasn't actually in any kind of pain with the tooth. It wasn't like a toothache even. Mm-hmm. There was no infection yet. It was decayed in a certain manner that they couldn't do anything cosmetic to it. So that was the decision to get it pulled, was just, other than the price and everything, was and not to wait longer. It did fracture with the peanut, and it was hurting the inside of my cheek, but the tooth itself didn't hurt. So if they could have done something to fix that, which they did temporarily 2 weeks ago, but I mean longer term than that, I still would have probably had it pulled because I didn't want it to get to the stage of it being horrible to look at.
Fucking dead tooth.
Yeah, and I could already tell because of that hole from the filling that fell out that was really hard to clean. And I could tell that there was starting to get like an odor that was harder to fight. You know? And I didn't want that. So I was just like, fucking get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to say there when you mentioned tartar and plaque and stuff, I thought you were talking about toothpaste specifically. And there was a time where I wanted to get like the best toothpaste, right? But then I started to read the labels on all the toothpaste. And with the exception of some of like the, really more like super expensive toothpaste, or the ones that are like, for like sensitive teeth or whatever, but which even those don't have much of a difference. Most all toothpaste seem like they're almost the exact same ingredients, as far as percentage of active ingredient goes, and then the other ingredients, they all pretty much all have the same. So there's, from what I can tell, and this is Will. We all know how dumb I am. The ones that say like anti-cavity, or the ones that say like tartar and plaque, or the ones that say like whitening, they all have the same shit in them. So I just started getting like the one that was like, it's not the cheapest of cheapest, but it's definitely like one of the lower ones. And I just use a lot of it in the morning. I could do brushing at night. Like that doesn't bother me, but what does bother me is not having fresh teeth, like a fresh mouth in the morning. I cannot That's one thing I cannot stand. If I'm like if I stay over at someone's house, or if I go on a trip and I forget a toothbrush, and I have to go like the first day awake with like, with like skunk mouth, or what, I cannot stand it. I hate to eat. I lose my appetite. Like and it's like overly gross. I'm not like, I'm like got like, huge chunks of food and hair and everything else sticking out, no.
Hair.
Yeah. But I don't know. I need like the fresh mouth in the morning. It's just part of my like morning routine. So I just brush in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you brush for a certain period of time? Like, do you like there's always that thing that you were supposed to like sing your ABCs or like happy birthday or whatever like twice, and that was like the duration you're supposed to do? Or do you just like get in there and like and then you're done?
Yeah, I don't time it or anything like that. No, I just kind of go all around. I target specific areas and go like back to front on the top and the bottom. I spit. I do a one more time once over.
Mm-hmm.
I spit, and then that's it.
Do you?
And then I lately after that I mouthwash for probably. It's supposed to be 30 seconds, but I usually do like 30 to 60 seconds.
Until it hurts.
Somewhere in there. Usually I do like the burn, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The burn.
I like, on the rare occasions I do use mouthwash, I do it until I absolutely cannot take it anymore.
Yeah, it like makes my eyes water up, and I'm like, yeah, this is great.
You kill all those clean. Bad things. Yeah, yeah. So on your brush technique, do you...
Yeah.
You said back to forth, like back to front. But...
Yeah.
But do you mean back teeth to front teeth? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, what is the actual like stroke motion? Is it side to side? Is it up and down? Is it swirls?
I think different parts of the mouth, I tend to do it differently. Whenever it's the back, harder to reach areas, I kind of just do like a forward and back.
Okay.
Like that,
Yeah, like you're sucking a dick.
Like, you need me to do the hand motion again?
Yeah, the hand motion sold it, man. It's pro.
But whenever
pro
I get
level,
the closer like to the front that I get, I try to do like swirl.
Okay.
Swirl, definitely.
So yeah. I do 2 passes as well. I start on the front, go to the side, top, side, bottom, opposite side, top, opposite side, bottom. And I do like the back sides, the tops, all that kind of stuff. But all of that is I guess side to side or back and forth, right? Not up and down. And then I spit, and then I go back in and I do everything swirl. I even do like the back swirl. I do the top swirl. I do as best I can, like the inside, a little swirl, whatever. But I do everything a swirl, and then that's my end. So I try to do at least...
It's the grand finale.
The grand finale is just, swirls everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was talking to a coworker one time, my coworker who is no longer on my shift. And I don't remember how, but we were talking about like toothbrushing and like mouthwashing and whatnot. And
yeah,
that was about whenever I like started this everyday cycle of mouthwashing again.
Oh.
And we were talking about that. And so I think he asked me if I mouthwash before or after I brush. And I was like, after. And he's like, you're supposed to, he's like, no, you do it before. And I was like, why would you do it before? And he's like, because if you do it after you brush, then you're just like washing off all of the stuff you just did. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. And he's like, yeah, I do mouthwash before. And I was like, I've never even considered that before.
Is
and
I
looked it up. I searched, are you supposed to mouthwash before or after? And what I found was honestly, either is fine, but generally you should probably do it after.
Well, yeah, because
I had never even considered mouthwashing before brushing.
I feel like mouthwashing before would be more of a waste because you got more like plaque and buildup in the way.
Yeah,
and the mouthwash can't get in there, and do its thing.
Yeah, so this is a coworker that I've talked to you off mic many a times about. Great guy, but we don't agree on anything,
including mouthwash
at all, including mouthwash. He texted me this thing, actually just last week that annoyed me. Actually, he texted me some article about Bill Gates saying something about, he said something about essentially the summation of what Bill Gates said was basically like, climate change is bad, but humans will find a way to move past it.
Sure.
And so he was like, he said something about like, if there was something I could do to either prevent the temperature from raising 1 degree Celsius or stop malaria altogether, he was like, I would choose to stop malaria completely. Something like that. And so this former coworker, he still works there, just on a different shift, like I said. He texted me this article and was saying something about like, man, it's crazy that somebody who like has spent so much money talking so much about like climate change is backing, like going back on whatever, and or it's something. So essentially he was saying like, yeah, he's like laying off the like doom and gloom stuff and is like beginning to have like more of an approach to climate change that I have, or something like that. And my response was, I don't care. And he was like, interesting. And I was like, why would I care what Bill Gates says? I said to him, Bill Gates could say, I regret every dollar I've ever spent in relation to climate change. I was like, he could say that and I wouldn't give a fuck. Why would I care about what he says about climate change?
He's not
a climate scientist.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, he's just a rich guy. And my coworker sent this. He replied with like a long text about like he's done so much for this and that, and he's a smart guy who does this and that. So I was like, I think a lot of people care about what he says or something. And I was like, yeah, I don't disagree. I don't though. What he says is fucking irrelevant. I don't give a shit. I said, I basically said something about like, he has nothing to do with like science or anything, so nobody should care what he has to say about any of this. And that's whenever he replied with like, yeah, but he's really smart and he donates a lot of money to this stuff. And so he was like, I think a lot of people should care or do care or something. And I was like, I said, guy has a lot of money, therefore we should listen to everything he says. Doesn't sound like a very healthy society to me. And then he never replied.
Yeah, you're right. But also, being really smart in computer science is not the same thing as being really smart in climate.
In climate science, yes.
So yeah, like, he's really smart. I think, caveat.
Yes, I was like, I'm sure me and Bill Gates probably are mostly in agreement when it comes to climate change, but I also don't think I am a person that people should listen to when it comes to talking about climate change necessarily.
And also, I don't think he's saying that climate change isn't an issue, so I'm going to focus on malaria. He's saying,
right,
if I only had two options, what one can I be most effective at solving?
Right, and the whole point of the thing was like, his whole point also was like, we need to step away from like the doom and gloom approach, essentially, or whatever. He was like doing one of those things. And anyway, this article that this coworker sent me was like a New York Post article, and so I lambasted him for that.
Fantastic.
And he was like, I can send you the whole like quote from him or whatever. And I was like, I could look that up if I wanted to myself. I don't give a shit what he said.
Yeah, but if you read the whole thing though, it's different.
Right. That's fine. I'm sure it is. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that actually kind of annoyed me, and I was like, "Don't text me this stupid shit."
It's like, to throw another computer guy under the bus. People, claiming that Steve Jobs is this like amazing, super smart person, and granted, like, I'm not saying that he's an idiot, or that he didn't have talents, or that he wasn't, smarter than most in certain areas. But the guy also had treatable cancer, and he chose to fucking eat like
to do
smoothies.
like holistic, like healing practices.
Yeah, like he could have easily have beat that cancer, and he chose the most. So just because he's smart doesn't mean that like oh, he's doing the thing that everyone should be doing, or doing the most scientific approach to something. No, it just means that like he's human and he's good at some things, and that doesn't mean that he's good at everything.
I'll contact Bill Gates if I need help updating to the latest Windows software and I'm having trouble. I'm sure Bill Gates is probably a great person to ask for help on, but whenever it comes to what do we need to do about the climate, he's probably not the guy that I go to first.
Well, and also too, like to say that Bill Gates has thrown a lot of money at climate whatever. I don't know if he has or not.
Yeah.
But I do know that like the Bill Gates Foundation has thrown a lot of money at disease prevention and like eradication of diseases. And I think he's been working on malaria, not him, his foundation has been working on malaria for a while now. And so yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I think he's saying again, where is his dollar most effective? Not as a species of being. Where should we? He's not saying the whole planet needs to put their money behind malaria treatment. He's saying, I myself, if I had two options, malaria and climate change, I would pick the one that my foundation's already working on to eradicate, because that's a short-term, you know, emergency that I can solve.
Yeah.
He's saying that like I could put my money towards climate change, but it would be such a drop in the bucket that it would be a waste. That's what I take out of that. Not that it isn't a pressing issue. Now maybe I do have some disagreement if he did say, you know, the alarmist approach is not a good approach. But I still feel like he's just saying I feel like I can do something monumental with malaria.
Yeah. Yeah, and either way, whatever he's saying, my response stays the same.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Which is great.
What
you got to do, man.
What I want you to do is I want you to do a bunch of research about mouthwash and the benefits of doing it after.
Send him a bunch of articles.
Just yes.
I need to find an article of Bill Gates saying something about how he mouthwashes after he brushes. Be like, listen here, Bill Gates says to mouthwash after you brush. He's really smart and has $1 billion.
Yeah. And people really like, you know, trust him and look up to what he says.
With everything. He has a lot of money, so you can trust everything he says about any topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that annoyed me. I
just can't believe
I haven't heard from that coworker since.
So
he's somebody actually also. I didn't say it to him, but I really thought, I was like, I would have guessed before tonight that who cares what Bill Gates says would have been something that me and you could have agreed on.
Yeah,
there's been like two things ever that we've agreed on.
But that's the thing. It's not that he is a devout follower of Bill Gates.
Right.
It's that he needed something to validate his way of thinking. And it just so happened that rich guy said something that he took as a validation of how he thinks. That's all this was.
And then for some reason felt like sharing it with me.
Yeah.
We've like never talked about Bill Gates or anything.
Because once you're validated, you have to let everyone else know that you've been validated.
I assume it's just because like I have made it very clear to him that climate change is something that I care a lot about. But I've also made it very clear to him that I'm like, nobody else seems to give a shit. So I'm trying to also not care as much because clearly nothing's being done and that's just the way it's going to be. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So I think him knowing how much I care about it and then seeing this, like, we need to take a less alarmist approach or whatever thing, like made him think, oh, I'm going to send this to my friend who cares a lot about climate change.
Yeah, I'm trying to change his mind. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what prompted him to send me that, but I was like, don't ever send me a New York Post article about anything.
Ever.
And then also, I don't care what Bill Gates says about anything at all. So aside from that, I think in my cold that I keep having to mute so I can sniffle because I'm trying to not do that in the recording. It'd be ideal. I think the only other kind of relevant updates that I have had since we last recorded. I just, right before getting on this recording, I finally watched the new Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, which I know you have not. I did. We did watch it on Netflix.
The Netflix, okay.
I'm sad to report.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you already have Netflix, or did you get it just for that?
She got it a few weeks ago for a couple different reasons. Frankenstein being one of the big ones. Also, Stranger Things, and I told her, like, you need to keep it for one more month because I think the new Linklater movie is going to be on there next month.
I'm waiting to get Netflix for a month. I think I've talked about this at the start of the year, so I can do the whole Stranger Things thing and finish that. I'm hoping that Frankenstein will still be on there by then.
Right. Hopefully it won't be just deleted from existence.
Just removed completely. And then whatever else I can squeeze in a month. So,
which I still, adolescence, I need to remember, if you mention that you get Netflix, I need to remember to tell you to watch that, because there's only 4 episodes, I think.
Okay.
And it's well worth watching.
I think we've talked about...
Not, for nothing else, just for, like, the craft of how it's made one shot each episode.
That's a great segue.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before, about how I have a dislike of starting shows, episodic television, we'll call it, even though it's streaming.
And then having to wait.
Yeah. So I resist as much as possible whenever I hear good things about something to not watch that thing until, like, at least the first season's out in its entirety. And some streamers do, like, release the whole season at once, all the episodes. But then some streamers do the thing where they release, like, once a week, like normal TV used to, right? So you segued perfectly into craft and into streaming. I actually resubscribed to Apple TV yesterday, as of this recording, because there is a new show on by the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan. It's called Pluribus. I do believe I'm saying that.
I've seen a preview for it before.
I should have checked beforehand. It's one of those that comes out once a week.
But you've already started.
I have. There were 2 episodes, the pilot and the second episode. I highly, from what I've seen so far, I'm trying not to go into any kind of critique on story or anything, like, creative, right? As outside of the craft, purely on the craft of the way that it's done. That pilot, I think you should watch. I think everyone should watch it, but I think you specifically should watch it. The way that the pilot's done. Because, man, that dude knows how to write a pilot and get you sucked in such a great way. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how many episodes there are going to be. I hate that I have to have another subscription service. She recently did a free trial, like the month or whatever, free trial of Apple TV, because there was, like, one thing she wanted to watch on there, and there was 1 or 2 movies that I knew were on there that I wanted to watch. And so we watched those things pretty shortly after she subscribed, and then we just looked around on there, and we were like, "There's nothing on Apple TV that really either of us care about." Yeah,
and so we just let it expire.
Have you or her seen Severance?
No,
that's really good.
I can't speak for her. I'm not sure if she has or not, but I definitely have not heard her talk about it. No.
That's really good. Really well done on all facets. There is a movie that I wanted to see. I didn't realize was on Apple. I'd heard about it, but I didn't realize that's where I could watch it. And maybe there are other places to watch it. But anyway, it was the Matthew McConaughey The Lost Bus. Have you heard of this? No?
No.
So it's based on a true story of I can't remember if it was the Paradise Fire or one of the big fires in California that killed, like, a lot of people. And apparently it's about Matthew McConaughey plays a bus driver, and he basically loads up this classroom full of kids. Like the fire's coming in, they're all being evacuated, and it came in so fast, you know. And it's the story of this bus trying to make its escape from the inferno. But I'd seen the trailer for it a bit ago, and I don't know. I like movies. It doesn't. I'm not saying that the whole thing is set on the bus, because I haven't seen it, of course. But just from the trailer, I like movies that are like very few locations or like mainly one location. But it looked really intense and really good for what I saw. So I'm looking forward to that one on the Apple TV. But yeah, other than that, Severance, I've already watched all of that's out so far. Pluribus, only 2 episodes are out. And then I do want to watch Silo, just because I'm into sci-fi, like that kind of stuff. But that's it. Otherwise, nothing else appeals to me, at least on the surface, on Apple TV. Yeah,
Apple TV is like the black hole streaming service for me. Like there's nothing on there that is appealing. The one that I wanted to watch on, two that I wanted to watch on there, one of them I didn't even end up watching. For one is director's cut of Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Oh, that's on there?
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's exclusively on there. No physical, except for sloppysecondssales.com.
.org.
I scooped up sloppyseconds.com.
Oh, it is .com. Dang it.
Scarecrows.org.
Dang, that's right. Sloppysecondssales.com.
I ended up buying the Napoleon director's cut from Sloppy Second Sales, and the one that's on Apple TV that I really wanted to watch, that I told her I wanted to, like, if she was getting Apple TV, the only thing I really wanted to watch was Cha Cha Real Smooth. And I really liked that. It's like one of my favorite movies I've watched this year, even though it didn't come out this year. It unexpectedly like made me cry at the very end of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it wasn't even necessarily like, I mean, it's an emotional ending, but it's not like a sad ending, and it's not like a super like heavy ending or anything like that. It was just like the right thing, and it kind of like just, it like specifically made me think of like being a kid and like whenever my brother moved out. And it kind of, and that wasn't even really like a sad moment either. Like whenever my brother moved out, because it wasn't like he moved away and like I wasn't going to see him anymore or anything like that. But I think, I've still never, don't know where he is.
He's lost. He's on every milk carton.
It was like the ending, the emotion of the ending of that movie, just like, it kind of just like put my brain back inside of like childhood me. Yeah. Like in a very specific way that it just like, I just started like bawling for like 5 minutes at the very end of the movie. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking
unexpected.
Great. It's from this dude, Cooper. I've never heard how his last name is pronounced. It's spelled Raiff, Cooper Raiff or Rafe.
Okay.
He's only directed 2 features. That was his second one. The first one was The Shit House, which I think I've talked about at some point to you, I'm sure, I think.
Maybe.
But this one was only available on Apple TV, and so there's literally no other way to watch it, unfortunately, because they're one of the streaming services that just doesn't release physical copies. Mm-hmm. And so I really liked The Shit House a lot, and I was like, I got to see this other movie, and I finally did, and it was great. And he has a mini series, I think, that he's directed that I think a portion of it premiered at Sundance earlier this year, in 2025. And that I don't think is available. I think it got purchased by Mubi, but I don't think it's available to watch yet. So I'll probably watch that at some point as well. But yeah, so far this guy is 2 for 2 in my book. He's, I think, a year younger than me. He writes and directs these and stars in them. Like Cha Cha Real Smooth is him and Dakota Johnson. Really good. Very good movie. I recommend that just for like seeing a young dude it's like
talented.
Yeah. And I don't know how much you would enjoy his stuff really. I mean, not to say you don't like this filmmaker, but his movies very much it's a big compliment in my opinion. His movies very much remind me of like Linklater.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not in terms of how to say, like, specifically just like the tone and the feel of kind of just like the leisurely and like the conversations and like just the way these movies flow.
Right.
He has a very Linklater type of vibe to him that I just love. I love that kind of thing. So Cha Cha Real Smooth just really.
What was his name again?
Really worked. Cooper. Rafe or Cooper. Rife.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can recall the first.
I actually followed him on our Instagram a while back. I think after I watched that movie. So if you go through our follow, like who we're following, he should be on there. That was all I cared about Apple TV for. Oh, that's where I was going to go. But whenever I started this, so aside from Frankenstein, which assuming you would prefer, I will reserve comment on.
Yeah. So pause for a second, because I think you texted me earlier today that you were about to watch it, and then literally an hour after that, not even 45 minutes, maybe, another friend of mine texted me and was like, "You gotta watch Frankenstein." So I have all this pressure right now to go and I guess I'm gonna have to get Netflix for a month. And
I will say I never said you have to watch it.
You didn't. but the fact that, like, I know that you'll want to talk about it in some facet, and me not having seen it prevents you from having an open dialogue about it.
I think. Well, do you even want like a reaction from me whatsoever?
Nope.
That's fair. That's why I also, whenever there's a movie like this that I know you are really eager to see, I specifically always try to just like, I do not say anything. Yeah. Like I'll usually let you know that I'm watching it, and then I don't say anything after that.
The only thing I care about, and you can tell me yes or no, just don't include any detail. Is there the Guillermo del Toro face smash scene?
Smash, I would say no.
I might be out. I might.
I won't say anything further
because I always love that whenever he just takes someone's nose and just crushes it. Usually.
Well,
I'm back in. Okay, I'm back in.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, smash. I don't think would be the verb I would use. But yeah, you might have some nose play.
A different verb.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I just watched that. Literally finished it like minutes before getting on here. So that's really fresh. And
didn't it come out in theaters first? Thankfully.
Yeah, it played a few places. I know it played relatively close to where I live. It played over at the Nightlight in Akron a couple weeks ago, and it's currently playing like half an hour away from where I live at a theater. And we were going to go there, but I kept going back and forth, and I decided I didn't really want to be like sniffly through a 2.5 hour movie.
I was curious as to why you didn't see it in theater.
Yeah, she was kind of like, the only reason I haven't watched it yet is because we were going to go to the movie theater. And I was like, we'll see how I feel on Saturday. If I'm feeling better, I really want to go see it in theater.
Yeah.
And I had to go take my car in for just like an oil change and to put 2 new tires on. And I ended up staying like dressed and ready to go out all day. And then I kept kind of going back and forth in my head. And I finally landed on like, I just don't want to be like sniffling through 2.5 hours of this movie in theater.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
if it's still in theater, I guess this is sort of giving me too much information. But if it's still in the theaters in like a week, would you go see it?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm back out. I'm back out.
I personally would not.
Okay.
I actually thought about that while watching the movie a lot, but I think
I look forward to seeing it and talking to you about it. But yeah, so if you ever get Apple TV again for free, definitely check out just the first, like the pilot of that Pluribus.
Well, if that ends up happening at some point, I will text you to remind me what this is, because I'm sure I won't remember.
Mostly because I really just want to talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could probably reach out to Corey. I'm sure Corey's seen it, or will see it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm assuming. I want to talk to someone about not just the craft of that pilot, but also the concept of the plot. And that was what hooked me. And I can't say that I love it, but I'm really intrigued. I'm just intrigued as to how they're going to continue this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the choices that they made plot-wise. Yeah, I'm just like, how are we going to keep doing this for a season? And not like I'm like doubting it. I'm just really curious as to how they're going to do it. So that's why I'm more hooked out of intrigue than I am out of pure love for what I saw. But again, that sounds like I'm also like, saying something negative about it. It was good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. But it was also like, how? Because it's doing some things that are really interesting. So if you ever get to see that, or if you absolutely develop a complete undesire to ever see it, then I'll just spoil it for you at some point in time.
Yeah, I before watching Frankenstein earlier, we watched. I expressed an interest in watching Traitors, and
I've heard of this.
So I watched. She showed me an episode of that. It's this British or UK, I guess specifically, because I think it takes place in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Reality show.
Oh, reality show.
Largely, yeah. Yes, it's like. So I've literally just watched my first episode, and I have only seen one episode, and it is the first episode of season 3. Is what she
season 3
with, which I mean, it's each season is like its own beginning to end conclusion, right?
Okay.
And then so like each season is its own
round.
Yeah, so this is the third iteration or whatever. Yeah, the third group, and so it's essentially this like. What I gather, at least, and this is a hugely popular show in the UK.
Let me try to guess based off the title. Traitors.
Yeah.
Is it about...
Which is Traitors. Traitors.
Oh, okay, Traitors.
Not traders with a D.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go down a whole different route of like, a bartering system. And
right. Yeah, no, I had first heard about it from, actually from Knowledge Fight. So each episode, I've explained this to you before. I don't know if I've done it on a mic, but for anyone who doesn't listen to that show, each episode starts, the two hosts, first thing, like we have drink check. That's like our silly little beginning of the show thing. Each episode of Knowledge Fight, the first thing they go into is, what's your bright spot today?
Bright spot.
And it's just both of them, talk about like, oh, this is the thing that I've been enjoying, or I did this and this like made my day or whatever. Like it's just a little positive way to start each episode.
Yeah.
But I think a couple of times one or both of their bright spots has been like, oh yeah, Traitors is starting back up. Like
I think this
new
is
season
where
of Traitors is starting.
Before. Okay.
And I've been like peripherally aware of it. And then on my drive to and from work this past week or two, I haven't even told you this. I've been listening to the BBC Radio 5, 5 Live as it is, and that's like the talk show channel essentially. And I was driving home from work a few days ago, earlier last week, and I heard there were two people on there talking, and one of the hosts was saying like, oh, later on at this time, we're going to have this person from like the new season of Traitors on. And the other person was like, oh my God, like, nope, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything about whatever. And
no
the other person was like, well, I don't know anything either. So we're safe. It's fine. And so I was like, I'm really intrigued about what the fuck is going on with this show. And I'm also obviously in this deep, like, obsessed with everything British kick as of late. And so I was like, and I know my partner had watched this show before and she really liked it as well. And I think this new season is about to start, I think within the next couple of weeks at the time of recording.
What season would this be? 4?
4, okay. Yeah. And so I just earlier today, I was like, I think I'd like to watch that show and kind of catch up and be kind of in the loop and current with this show and see what's going on if I like it. And she was like, yeah, like we'll, and it's available on Peacock, which we have. And so she was like, yeah, I'll show you an episode. And if you like it, we can continue it. And she started with season 3, episode 1. And I kept making fun of her. I was like, I guess I just won't know anything that's happening. And I was just like being a dick. And so like people,
was there a reason she chose that season and episode?
It was just, she personally like really liked that season. Okay. She was like, I thought this season was great.
So and, she wanted to hit you with what she thought was like the best.
Because I planned on just starting from the beginning and watching each season chronologically.
You gotta know the backstory.
Like what happens. And so this first episode, so it's like different things would happen and like the people on the show like react to it with surprise, and like they react to it in such a way that's like, oh, that thing is happening, you know? And so every time one of those things would happen, I would look over at my partner and be like, I guess I just don't know what that is. And I'm not going to know because I haven't seen the first 2 seasons. Yeah. And so I was just being like a real asshole about stuff like that. And she like paused it. She was like, do you want to start with the first season? And I'm like, we're already 10 minutes into this episode. No, I know.
I've already ruined it.
So I was just being an asshole. But anyway, it ended up being very interesting. I'm not like a reality TV show person or anything.
So Traitors. So is it about like people who have defected from their country or something?
It's so the premise, based on the one episode that I have seen, is there is a group of, I think it was 22 people, and they all get put into this like very large mansion, essentially.
Okay. So far it's Big Brother.
Right? And so they all kind of like, it's the first day and they all kind of like meet each other and they kind of like slightly get to know each other and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so the host woman comes out and she's like, so 3 people out of this 22 are going to be picked, and these people are going to be the traitors, quote unquote.
Okay.
Right. And so at the end of the first day, so the first day, everybody is just kind of like chatting and getting to know each other and whatnot.
Yeah.
At the end of the first day, they leave, but 3 of these people are called back in that night without anybody else knowing about it. And
you know who it is though, right?
And yes.
The viewer. Okay.
Yes. And so these 3 people who have been chosen meet each other. So the way they're picked actually is everybody all together, all 22 people, they all like sit at this gigantic round table and they all have blindfolds on.
Ooh.
And the host of the show does like almost like a Duck Duck Goose situation. She like walks around the circle and she taps you, and if you get tapped, you're picked as one of the traitors. Mm-hmm. And so nobody else knows who you are, who the traitor is, and the other traitors at this point don't know who the other traitors are. And so they finish that day, and then that night, the 3 people who were picked show back up, and then they learn who each other are. And so they're basically a team. And so what they do is the 3 of them pick a person to quote unquote kill, which means essentially they are kicked off the show.
Okay.
And
because
so
voted out was too gentle.
Right. Everybody who is not a traitor has to figure out who the traitors are. Mm-hmm. And so the traitors are like reintegrated back in, and they have to like pretend like, oh my God, that person's not here. Like what happened? Like, I can't believe they're not. So they have to pretend that they're not the traitors. Right. And so that's basically the premise as far as I can gather so far.
So the going back to the
so like nobody can, it's essentially like The Thing and like nobody can trust anybody else, and nobody knows if they're talking to a person who is a traitor. And so at the end of the episode, they have like this round table where everybody gets back in there, and everybody together is trying to like plead their case for, I think this person is one of the traitors, and this is why, like, this person acted weird whenever we did this and this.
Yeah.
And so everybody picks a person to kick off.
So
and hoping that it's going to be one of the traitors.
Are the traitors trying to sabotage a game or something? Is there some kind of thing where, like, if the traitors continue to hide their identity, do they win a pot of money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So from what I gather, yes. If that is the case, the three of them get to split like the money at the end or whatever.
Yeah. There's a similar show to that concept, and that's not the first one to ever do any kind of like saboteur concept. But there was a show that I watched last year on the streaming service Nebula, which is actually made by like a bunch of YouTube creators. They formed their own streaming service. It's actually really good. But there's one called The Getaway, and there were like, I think 10 contestants. So not a whole lot. But out of the 10 contestants, there was someone who was a saboteur. And every episode, they did some kind of game or puzzle or some kind of thing that they had to do to advance to the next round. And someone in that group would be eliminated every single episode based off of what who the group thought did the worst, like who was dragging the group down. And it was the saboteur's goal to make the group mess up, but also not get caught as the saboteur, right? And if the saboteur lasted to the end, they got a grand prize. If they got outed, then that was it, right? Mm-hmm. The difference is that everyone was the saboteur, and they didn't know it. Mm-hmm. And that was, because you brought up The Thing, that was the closest I've seen those type of formats where there is a saboteur. Because there used to be one a long time ago called The Mole. And The Mole was on, like in like the early 2000s, I think. Same concept. But there's always only ever one mole. Or in the case that you're talking about, there's multiples. But still there's a majority that aren't the mole. But it was really cool to see that everyone playing the game is trying to act as though they're not the saboteur, while also trying to place blame on someone, because the group as a whole, they were told that one of you is the saboteur, and you got to try to find who that is. So they're also trying to like convince everyone else, hey, pick that guy because I think he's the saboteur. Mm-hmm. Whenever they're all individually aware of the fact that they're all the saboteur. So the mental game that you got to watch everyone play was this anxiety of I can't be outed, while also not realizing that the person next to them is also thinking that same thing. Mm-hmm. And that was really pretty fun to watch. Yeah. Yeah, I like those games a lot. Traitor, that's interesting. Yeah. It's on Peacock, you said?
First episode was pretty fun. Yeah. All three so far seasons are available on there, and I think Peacock is one of the ones that, like, as this new season starts, like the day after it premieres, like it'll be available to stream as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So I look forward to watching more of that, because I think each season has 12 episodes, something like that. But yeah, this first episode is really great, and it's interesting to just watch like the people who are the traitors, like watch the different approach each one of them takes to like trying to pretend they're not, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like this one person who is really like, and the other two traitors, like in their personal like interview, things that they do like a reality show.
Yeah,
they keep talking about like that person is like kind of pushing a little too hard, like to try to make it seem like they're not one, and it's kind of like, I don't know, but I also don't know if that's just because I know they are, and so it seems more like they're acting like that to me. So it's kind of interesting watching everybody play these mental gymnastics, and then like one of them the first day, like right after they found out they were traitors, this guy calls out one of them as like, I think, like, I'm suspicious of you because whenever the host lady mentioned traitor, you like looked over at her. And he noticed that. And so he's really kind of like, I'm really suspicious of you, and I'm like pleading my case for why I think you are the person.
Right.
And so it's interesting to watch that. And then so like the traitors are kind of like trying to push the blame over to like this other person, and like, oh well, you accusing them makes it seem really suspicious about you, and blah blah blah. It's very entertaining.
It's fascinating. Yeah.
Like again, one episode in, but I really enjoyed it. So it ended, and she asked like, do you want to watch episode 2 or do you want to watch a movie? And I was kind of like, I want to watch episode 2, but also we need to watch Frankenstein. So
I'll keep going.
Let's watch Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the getaway, just the fact that all of them were the traitor or the mole or the saboteur or whatever. It was really kind of awesome to watch that same setup, to where everyone, because they also did like the one to camera bits or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And everyone, since everyone is the traitor or whatever, they were so worried that that they were going over, like overacting or, just overcompensating, right? And then not knowing again that literally,
or does it just seem like I'm overcompensating because I know that
because I know that I'm the traitor and they're not, am I just worried? But then the very next person is also thinking that same thing. So the fact that they're all in the same anxiety, that it's shared, but they don't understand that it's shared, was really kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
And it was cool to be the audience and know that they're all, that they're all traitor, or in your case, to know who is the traitor, because you do get to see that dynamic of pushing a boundary or pushing, things to the edge, or, taking a risk, or someone like, outing you or whatever. But do you think it would be better if you didn't know?
I actually made mention of this, I think either during or immediately after watching that episode, because I had read like the IMDb logline of what the show's premise is, so I had a vague idea of what the whole deal of like what the whole basic premise of the show is.
Yeah.
And I did make mention of, I wasn't sure if we as the audience were going to know who these people are or not. And so I was really interested to see how they did that. And I think I actually did think specifically about that. And I do think knowing who they are is the slightly better choice, just because I think it adds an extra bit of, I don't know if anxiety, like suspense, maybe. I don't know if that's even the right word. That even might seem too strong. But like an extra layer of something, knowing who they are and just like being aware of like, oh, that person does seem like they're like acting too hard. But then also yourself second guessing of like, but do I just think that because I know that that's the person? So, and that's actually a reasonable way that they would be acting if I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we've talked about this before with writing, and this is a case of superior positioning, right?
Yeah.
And it's really effective whenever the audience knows something.
I remember having long discussions about this with that screenplay that I wrote in 2020.
Yes.
About what happens with the character in that, and like, you as the audience, do you know before it's revealed to this character, do we know that that's what's happening with this person?
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Schrodinger's plot device, because as soon as you observe it in one way, you really can't ever observe it in the other way, right? So you can't say that like it's better. Well, I'm not saying you can't. It's hard to say that the way that it's done, the way that you observe it, is the best way, because you really just don't know. And
yes,
but I had the opportunity. And I was, as you were saying all that, I was trying to think if I wanted to spoil this or not. Dropout TV, they did an episode of Game Changer that was something similar to this, and this whole concept that we're talking about. And without revealing too much, the audience was allowed the opportunity to be both in the superior position and the inferior position. Or not, well, and then also, not just inferior, but also parallel, in a sense, because the end of the episode, all is revealed. I'll say that much. And that moment, because I had watched The Getaway before, and I've seen The Mole, and I've seen other episode or other shows where there's like a saboteur, right? Like a hidden thing, right? And usually it's always the audience knows superior. And I'd always thought too that like that was the way. I'd always wondered what it would be like to not know. But then to be able to experience that, man, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, but it was also something that, like, I don't think you can do it more than once. I think that, like this Traitors series, if they were to have done what Dropout TV did on Game Changer the first season, well then, you can't ever do it again, because now the audience is aware, right? Once the cat's out of the bag of how it's done, that's it. So it's very much only able to be done in a one-off. And even then, the Game Changer was a one episode thing. I don't even think you can even do it over multiple episodes, right? I mean, maybe, but yeah. So that's something that I definitely will want to have to check out now. Traitor, and you said it's on Peacock. You said,
yeah,
okay,
on Peacock.
I don't have Peacock, but
yeah, I don't know why she signed up for it, but I was glad to have it because that's where the Premier League, most of the Premier League matches are.
Right.
Which footy. I've also been watching. I watched some. Yeah, that's how I started my day. My team plays tomorrow morning, but I tuned in for a few games earlier today. It was pretty fun. It was one had like a very thrilling conclusion.
I was going to ask if you were going to watch American football this weekend, because American football is playing in Europe.
Yeah, I saw that. No. No, NFL can fuck itself.
It fucking fuck itself.
That's that's what I think. And I actually, there was I thought it was kind of funny. There was a Chollop, I think, on the Dollops Patreon, and Dave actually specifically called out Manchester City.
Oh, really?
For something. So I actually was curious if he was biased, because I snooped on his Reddit page one day, and I discovered that he appears to be a Manchester United fan.
Figures.
So anyway, on this Chollop, they were just talking about sports, because the World Series was going on, and they were talking about the Dodgers being in the World Series, and Dave and Gareth were just kind of shitting on, like, yeah, sports aren't really fun anymore, because now a team can just, like, the team with the most money can just buy the best player, and then you can just, like, buy your championship, essentially, because all of the good players want to be on your team because they know they can win the championship if they're on your team. And so because players now, all they want is, like, a championship, they don't want to, like, build a team. So they were just kind of shitting on sports, and they were like, yeah, the Dodgers are going to win the World Series because they bought it, essentially. And Dave threw some shade at Manchester City. He was like, he said something about how soccer is the same way, and he was like, yeah, Manchester City, they won, I think, four Premier League championships in a row because they just bought the best players. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. Well, that's not the case now, because they basically started completely new. I think this year they have, like, a completely brand new team almost entirely. Wow. They have, like, I think maybe 2 or 3 players that have been there before. But, like, the whole story, since I've been only watching this season for the first time ever, the whole story with Manchester City is, like, they're finding their groove, and it's like the coach is like building this team from the ground up, basically. Like all these players were not on this team before. And it's like each week it's another step toward like they're figuring out what they're doing, and like each player is figuring out their role and like what they're good at and stuff like that, you know? So I was kind of like, I don't know, Dave, you might have been right, because I didn't watch those seasons.
True.
Maybe that is what happened.
Right.
But I'm like, I think you're also kind of biased because you're a United fan and they're like a heated rival.
Oh, a little bias there on Dave.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting and kind of fun. And because I actually had debated whether or not I was going to wear my Manchester City hat to the live dollop show that we went to.
That would have been, just to get like
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, you should have been.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably wouldn't have said anything, because I don't think they seem like a real like sports tribalistic kind of dudes. They're probably just like, cool, good for you. Yeah. But no, that was fun. There was so every Tuesday on the Patreon is like Luke's day. Like he gets to do whatever, he gets to post whatever it is that he wants. He has like free reign. And he actually had one last week, I think, that was like, it was awful. It was fucking terrible. There was like a van video that they did where Dave and Gareth showed Luke this fucking video of some crazy woman, this fucking weirdo, who was making coffee cheese.
Ugh.
She made a cup of coffee and put like a bunch of cheese into it.
Oh.
And then was like putting it on bread, and then was like drinking the coffee with the cheese in it. And it sounded awful. And so this, as he's calling it, Thank Luke It's Tuesday. That's what his name of his thing is every Tuesday. He actually tried it.
Oh,
and
gross.
it was like unwatchable. It was
What kind of cheese are we talking
gross.
about?
The woman in the video that they showed had like some not blue cheese. It was like a blueberry something cheese. I don't remember what it was. Luke did it with mozzarella.
That's even worse.
And he didn't have like a block of it. Like this woman cut a block of, like she cut cubes out of this like block of cheese. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I don't have access to that cheese. And I also don't have access to the blocks of cheese because we're on the road. So he had like slices of mozzarella cheese and he just like put slices in it and melted it. And he has like, it's like up close and he's like showing it and it's like melty and it's fucking disgusting looking. And he puts it on, he was like, I also don't have access to this bread that she had. So I'm using a tortilla chip. So he like scoops out this melted cheese and coffee and puts it on a tortilla chip. And he's like, I kind of hate myself, but it's not bad. And he's like enjoying it and eating it. And he's like talking about how this coffee has like a fucking like an oil film on top of it now from the cheese, and he's like drinking it and he's like, yeah, it's not that bad. And then it ended, it's like 10 minutes long, and it finally ends with him like eating a little bit more, and he's like, I think he must have been like looking at himself in the video or something, and he's like, I'm disgusting myself now at this point, and that's where it ends. Yeah, that was rough. But for the most part, their Patreon's wonderful, and I love the Chollops. They've been doing 2 Chollops a week, which has been great because I love those. They've been doing like one serious, like talk about current events, one where they're like, it's not funny and they're talking about what's going on.
Yeah, serious stuff.
And then they do a second one where it's just like silly stuff, and that's really fun.
That's always good.
So yeah, that's the Dollop Patreon. But that pretty much catches me up to speed on the week. I think Traitors is probably going to be my new thing for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't really care about reality shows whatsoever, very cool premise, really fun. I love British people. There's like a couple people on there from Wales, or one person from Wales, another person who's pretending they're from Wales. Because there's also a whole thing where like you're introduced to some of these people at the beginning of the episode, and they're like, and I'm still kind of confused about it, but there's a few people who are like telling you, the audience, that they're like lying about an aspect of their person, because they're like, if they know like what I really do, I'm afraid that they won't trust me
Yeah.
and they're going to pick me, like they're going to vote me off. So there's people that are like lying to everyone else about who they are as a real person, because they're like, if they know who I am as a real person, I'm afraid they won't trust me.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's this woman who is like, she was like in the military or something like that. And she is telling everybody that she like works at a nail salon or something like that. And she's like afraid that that'll implicate her in some way. And there's like this woman is pretending that she's from Wales, and she's like, my mom was from Wales, so I can do the accent really well. And like, I'm lying about this and this and this for this reason and whatever. So there's these people that are just like, in a sense, in character amongst everyone else, even though they're not one of the traitors. And
I love
so
that
it's really interesting dynamic. Yeah. This person that got picked off on this first episode, it was a bummer, because I actually pointed out to my partner, I was like, I think I'm rooting for this woman because she seems like really smart and kind of interesting. And so I'm like, she's like the least annoying to me at this point. And so I was like, I'm hoping that she goes far. That's who they picked off of the first episode, because the three of the traitors were like, the three of them were like, she is really smart and she is going to be trouble if she's here for long. So we need to get rid of her immediately.
We need this to be the dumbest cast possible.
Yeah. So like the three of them are trying to decide who they're going to like kick off on the first episode. And like that one person is saying like, oh, that one guy was really suspicious of me, but we can't pick him first because that'll make me look more suspicious. So they all agreed like this smart woman needs to go because she will probably figure shit out if she's here for long. And then she had her like goodbye message after she was picked off, and she had her like thing to the audience. And I was like, oh, she was actually really kind of annoying in that. And so I'm actually kind of glad she's gone.
Bye.
So I now have my new person that I'm rooting for. Yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting premise. I look forward to watching more of that. I did want to make a mention for Thomas's Music Corner. I texted you about this earlier. Two mentions. One of them I didn't tell you about. And I know that this pre-show is almost at 2 hours already, surprisingly to me. So I won't linger on these too horribly long. So if anybody is really into like the 80s, like goth, post-punk type of music, which I specifically love, I discovered this band, brand new. They just had an album come out this July, it looks like, July 2025. The band is called, excuse my mispronunciation, they are a Chilean group. The band is called Nostalgia Electrica. Electrica, I guess, has an accent on the E. Nostalgia Electrica. This album is called Ruinas Emocionales. It is not in English, if you can't tell. They are from Chile, like I said.
Emotions, maybe?
I think that is a good guess, probably. That's what I would guess as well. This album, I think, is fantastic. 10 tracks, 29 minutes long. It's streaming on Apple Music. I assume it's on Spotify as well. They are on Bandcamp. I plan on buying this album at some point. I listened to this album twice yesterday at the time of recording this. This, just as far as me personally, my personal taste, like what I love, like the specific genre and style I like, this album is exactly what I love.
Right.
And as soon as I played the first track, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, fuck yes, this is what I want.
Nice.
It's just so good. My favorite track on the album is the 9th track, Eco de Alas Rotas. That track fucking killed. The whole album, beginning to end, is excellent. That track specifically was my favorite. So I recommend that. The other thing that I've been listening to the most the last couple of weeks, there's this band, a UK band called High Vis.
High Vis.
They have 3 albums. I discovered this band because the singer from my favorite band, Enter Shikari, recommended them in a video.
Okay.
He was asked, like, what are current groups that you're really into? And he specifically said High Vis, because he noted that he grew up with like the 90s Britpop kind of groups, and these guys sound a lot like that. And so I checked them out, and yeah, I love this band. The singer is from the Liverpool area. the band themselves are based out of London, but the singer, the vocalist, is from the Liverpool area, and so he has this fucking accent that I love.
Of course.
Very, very British sounding. Excellent. They have specifically their latest album called Guided Tour is the album that I would recommend the most. That album is fucking excellent, but all 3 of their albums are great. If I was going to recommend specific tracks, they have a song called Trauma Bonds. That one and the song Mine's a Lie. Those 2 tracks are so good. I've listened to both of those probably like 100 times each in the past 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, excellent stuff. I recommend those 2 bands. High Vis and Nostalgia Electrica.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to that Nostalgia Electrica just because how you sold it to me whenever you sent me the text about it. I was like, oh, this actually does sound pretty cool. I haven't had the chance to tune it up yet, though, but I do look forward to listening to it.
Really good. And I did want to also mention I watched a 5-part docu miniseries called Shifty. It's from this coincidence. It's from this British filmmaker. His name is Adam Curtis, and he makes some really, really interesting, really good documentaries, mostly politically related. He has like a 2.5-hour documentary called Hypernormalization, just basically lambasting the media, more or less. Really interesting, really good. But this docuseries is called Shifty. There are 5 1-hour episodes. They are available on YouTube in full. Mm-hmm. Really good. This series is it's essentially just about being in Britain at the turn of the 20th century. So it's like the 70s through to the end of the millennium. And it's compiled entirely of like footage from, like nothing is shot for this thing. It is all old footage.
Okay, yeah.
And there's no narration whatsoever. It's just clips, and there will be text on screen talking about different things. And so you're just like watching, you're essentially for a majority of these episodes watching Margaret Thatcher and their government just like destroy everything.
So it's almost like a Koyana Squatsi for the history of Britain.
Yes, exactly history. That.
Okay.
I would say, yes, very much so. There's really cool, really fascinating footage, really interesting stuff, really dark also at times, obviously. And then the way it ended, the final episode ended on this note that just like made me not happy. Happy is not the right word. It's very dark, really, for obvious reasons. But the last episode ended on like that's fucking brilliant. Like the note that it ends on is this like it's like a comment on media and culture in general, right? And then the last subtitle that comes on screen is like, but also, is that what we just did to you for all 5 of these episodes?
Oh.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
You did.
Oh, that is brilliant. And then the credits. It's so good. That was excellent.
That's cool.
Shifty, I recommend, again, on YouTube in full. I think all of his documentaries, I could be mistaken, but I think all of them are available on YouTube. I watched Hypernormalization on there. And I found out about this guy in that documentary, Hypernormalization specifically, because Gareth and Dave recommended it a lot on their Chollops.
So some good recommendations from some good trustworthy.
So if you're sources. Up for some like really unpleasant like doom and gloom quote unquote documentary stuff about society in general, whether you're in England or in America,
I think it's
Adam Curtis
more universal.
Stuff is really good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. All of this stuff that was in that Shifty, again, is from like the 70s through to 2000, and it was very relatable to today. Right. Very much so. And it taught me the one interesting thing I learned from it that I did not know before was that privatization was started by the Nazis.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. And it was started by the Nazis specifically to gain the support of the rich and the elite in Germany. And
welcome back.
There is a subtitle on the screen that specifically notates that, and how the British government began to privatize the water system in the 80s. And it's specifically talked about that. And I was like, what the fuck? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I did not know that the Nazis started that. That makes sense.
Speaking of
good stuff.
Speaking of Nazis and starting stuff and privatization, and music, I've never been a huge fan of Spotify, but I'm even less of a fan. I advocate for.
What is it that came up?
They are currently running ads for ICE recruitment.
Oh, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I knew that there were some bands that I know were very vocal about removing their catalogs from Spotify a few months ago for like supporting funds for the IDF, I think.
Well,
so this is news to me.
Well, that too.
This is an update that I was unaware of.
So they support. I mean, I get that it's I guess for a business it's all just ad revenue, whatever, but it's still disgusting. So yeah, they support IDF, they support ICE, they platformed Joe Rogan. For the longest time,
I think Neil Young removed his catalog a couple years ago because of Joe Rogan.
So, but even before all that, I was never a fan of them because they're like one of the worst paying as far as royalties to artists.
Yeah. Because it's like none of them are very good, but Spotify I think was the worst.
It's the worst.
The bunch. Yeah.
So fuck Spotify. So.
Yeah, I used to have Spotify back whenever, maybe like 10 years ago, and this was largely because that's what everybody had, and so first that was kind of like what I knew.
I was one of the early adopters.
If you want to stream music, use Spotify. Yeah, and so I got on there, and then I think it was after Spotify I realized that there was also Apple Music, and I think I got like a free trial, and so I had briefly switched to Apple Music, and I kind of found out the quirks of each platform because each of them has like pros and cons as far as like for the user. And I kind of found that, in my opinion at least, Spotify is kind of more for if you're like a playlist type of person. Yeah. And you like individual tracks compiled in playlists, and you can search for any kind of playlist you want. You can search for fucking like toilet listening, and you'll find a shit ton of playlists that are just like music for when you're on the toilet. You'll find playlists for anything.
Not just the playlist, but it's also more of a social.
Yes, there is more of like a follow and see what your friends are playing and this and that. And so we've talked about this, I think, even on the pre-show before. Both of us are more of like full album people, not just like cherry pick individual tracks. And so I was never really big into the playlist thing. Even when I had Spotify, I'd never really went into the playlist stuff other than to just like, if I was trying specifically to discover music, I would search for a very specific playlist and just listen to a few tracks and then launch into like that artist's discography from there.
Right.
So just even as a user, personally, I got more out of Apple Music than I did out of Spotify just because I'm not a playlist person. And I felt Apple had, for at least my personal taste, it had a better like recommendation setup than Spotify had. Yeah. And so I kind of, for a while, I was flip-flopping back and forth because I found out this loophole where they seem to have corrected it, at least mostly, where I would have Spotify, and then I would get an email from Apple offering me 3 months for the price of one. So for like $10, I could get 3 months of Apple Music. So I would cancel my Spotify. I would take that deal, pay $10, get 3 months of Apple. Before that 3 months would expire, I would get an email from Spotify saying, hey, come back, we'll give you 3 months for the price of one. So I would pay 1 month and get 3 months for both of those services, flip-flop back and forth. And I did that for like a year and a half or 2 years. And then they must have gotten wise because at some point I actually canceled altogether because I was like, none of these pay artists well.
No.
And also I would like to be able to save that money. And also I was on this all of these guys are supporting the Trump administration, and I don't want to give any of them any more money than I already am. So I canceled everything outright. And I was just like, I'm going to just do Bandcamp, more money directly to the artists. Yeah. But the issue with that is not everybody that I want to support is on Bandcamp.
True. And
so that's why earlier in these pre-shows, I was like in the process of transferring all of my CDs to my phone digitally that way. And then I kind of reneged on that slightly because my partner had this offer for she sent me this Spotify offer because she has Spotify for she could refer somebody and get X amount of time for free or whatever. And so I was able to get 2 or 3 months for free of Spotify because she referred me, or maybe it was 1 month, whatever it was. And I was like, man, I could just game this system and I can just send myself a referral link, sign back up with an email alias from Proton Mail, create a virtual credit card with my Capital One, and just forever get free Spotify by just continually referring a new fucking account. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I just canceled it and I signed back up for Apple because they offered me 3 months for the price of one. And so currently I have Apple. I think it's valid for another month from the time of recording, and I might sustain it at least for a while because it's more cost feasible for a broke person to pay $10 a month and listen to all this music rather than to purchase one album for $10+ dollars every month or whatever. So I do whenever Bandcamp does these Bandcamp Friday specials, which is once a month ish, where they waive all of their fees and every dollar you're spending is going directly to the artist. I try to buy at least one album every time they do that sale. So whenever there's an album like this, from this Chilean group that I just found that I'm just really into right now, I will probably purchase that album. That way, at least for as many times as I'm going to be streaming this album, I can at least make sure they get their due royalties. Because I also read a bunch of articles that's you can stream these albums 1,000 times and it is not even remotely close to as much royalties as they'll get from purchasing the album once on Bandcamp. Yep. Yeah, so I recommend, I guess this is all to say, use Bandcamp if you can, everybody, and support the artists you like. That's great. And so that's Music Corner, I guess, for this week, Corner everybody.
With Thomas's Music Corner. Well, I guess we should start the show now, huh?
I guess we should. Okay. Tune back next week for another pre-show, everybody.
Bye.